Hey, how you doing? Carl Gilliard, twice married brother, and conversations with Carl and what's your name?
Latonya.
Conversations with Carl and Latonya. So anyway, well,
Silly.
I'm being silly. Okay, so a few weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we put out a video blog called The Man's Heart. And shortly after that, there was a blog. It was a really short blog because sometimes outside of me, we men are very short-winded. This brother put out a blog called Three Expectations I Have as a Husband. Brother's name is Isam Kuwaiti or Isam Kuwaiti. So, brother, if I'm mispronouncing your name, my apologies. Hit me up. But I thought that this blog was short but powerful. And it's one of those things that I think mystify the minds and hearts of so many women, which I think is why Steve Harvey's so popular and others, because it's just so simple. We are so simple, which is not to say that women are complicated, but it is interesting. It's like God has a sense of humor. We look at 1 Peter 3:7. If you're married, it tells husbands to dwell with your wives according to understanding. And I'm like, really, Lord? Understanding, really? It's like one of those things that we don't get till we die. So anyway, but we're very, very simple. So I'm going to go over, it was 3 things he talked about. And I'm going to go over them from my perspective. And hopefully it will bless somebody out there and help your journey as you prepare to be wives. Or if you are wives already, it will help you. I think it will. So anyway, the first one is, the house is to be my sanctuary. So what does that mean? Well, it means simply that when we come home from work, from our meetings, from our day, that our home is our place of peace.
Yes, peace.
Our sanctuary. That when we come home, we can relax, let our hair down, and be who we are in total transparency. One with our place, with our castle, with our family, with our wives. We want to be that. We want it to be that. We don't want to come home and have to fight. I had a flashback. Have to fight in our homes. So that's what that means. The house is to be my sanctuary. Number 2, acceptance and accessibility. Now, the brother went on about what he means by that, but how I read this is this. Acceptance means simply that who we are, you buy it. I mean, that doesn't mean we don't need to improve on some things. We don't need to do some things better, be romantic, be more loving, kiss you more, buy you more gifts, take you out more, be accessible to you, be loving, and all the things you needed for us to be. We're always on a quest to do more of that. But yet and still, we need to be who we are and let that be that. You accept us for who we are. Don't try to change us into something you want us to be.
Right.
Because guess what? That ain't you. I mean, that's
not my job.
That's not, yeah. What I'm trying to say is that if you
job.
try to change us into who you are, then we aren't us anymore. Right. We need to be who we are. Accessibility means that transparency, meaning we get to let our hair down and whatever is going on in our hearts, that we can be that truthfully and with honesty without any sorts of criticism, just because we came home and we laid it down with you. Now, we may not talk as often or as thoroughly as you do, but when we talk, it's powerful. It's something that needs to be said. It's from our heart, and it needs to be protected, and it needs to be safe for us to be that in our homes. Right. And the third thing, and this is something that's so huge for me personally, I admit that is probably, this might be the biggest thing for me personally, is effort at understanding.
That is good.
I love that. That needs to really sink in. Effort and understanding, which is way different than agreeing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think that, we need to pound our rules down and it needs to be adhered to. No. Sometimes we just want to be understood, even though 1 Peter 3:7 calls for us to understand you, and certainly the higher calling and onus is on us to understand you. And I get that. But, it's nothing worse than to be in a marital relationship or in any relationship and say to someone something that's on our heart that we really believe is true for us, and it is something that's true for us, and then to be told, oh, that's not true. What? Didn't I just tell you what it is, and you're gonna tell me what I believe? Ooh. I just had a flashback.
Come on, bring
Okay,
it
I'm
back.
back. I'm back.
Bring
I'm
it
back.
back.
I'm back.
Bring it back.
Okay. Anyway, so that's really all I want to say. That is the man's heart. This is basically the man's heart too, because I thought that this blog was incredible. If you want to see a copy of this blog, go to Facebook, Twice Married Brother. I'll make sure that it's posted. You have any thoughts about that, Latonya Black? You're so fine. How fine are you? How fine are you?
Well, I do have a thought about the acceptance and accessibility.
Yeah.
It's very important, I believe. I know you say the onus is on the man, and you're right. A lot of it, as the head of the house, priest of the home, whatever you want to say, a lot of responsibility does fall on you guys. But I think as a wise woman, if you're a helpmate, you have to really look and see. Okay, hopefully you're not one of these women that took a man as a project that you can fix and change, and you accepted him as he is, and you knew who he was before you got into that relationship.
Right.
If there's maybe something about him that bothers you, or what triggers him, in certain ways, I think it would be smart for you to figure out those triggers. Take your time. If a situation comes up that will automatically trigger an argument because it triggers this type of a response or reaction in him, and really, when you look at it, it's really not necessary to go down that road, don't pull that trigger. Just that simple.
Don't pull it.
Be smart, be wise, have peace. I'm all about peace. Don't pull that trigger. If you don't have to, just don't.
Let me bring this all the way around, because there's another video blog we did called The Kingdom, and The Kingdom is like a revelation for me. I mean, it's just, I need to do a whole series on that, because it just really opened my eyes in terms of accountability for me and my choices, in terms of the way that I choose the women who are in my life, because everybody isn't for me, and that is totally okay with me. So with regard to these 3 items that we've mentioned today, from the expectations I have as a husband, I do believe that it is ultimately up to me to be able to discern if the woman I'm choosing can actually hear my voice and adhere to the things I need in a marriage or in a relationship. Because it's not that women don't want to be these things, but I do believe that in an emotional moment, in a romantic moment, with music and violins and mandolins playing, that she may look at you and say, "Oh, you are the one for me." And then you look at her and you guys have chemistry and she's feeling you and the music's playing and the dancing is flowing and the champagne is going and the kiss is feeling good and all that stuff. But you can be fooled. Those things can fool you. Yes. That's why we as men need to know who we are, who God said we are, the good and the bad. And then we meet the ladies we meet. Enjoy what is to be enjoyed, but break it down to find out for real through prayer, supplication, and common sense, if indeed this woman can be these things for you in a marriage. It doesn't mean that there won't be problems, doesn't mean that there won't be dark days and won't be problematic days. You don't feel like dealing with it. You have to work through some things. That is not the point.
Right. But there's some battles you just don't have to pick.
Boom.
Yeah.
So, that is The Man's Heart 2. I'm Carl Gilliard, and this is A Conversation with Carl and Latonya. I'm Carl Gilliard.
I'm Latonya Black.
Yes, you are.